Hey, Falcons fans! Before we dive into today's absolutely wild trade deadline situation, I need you to understand something. What I'm about to reveal is going to flip everything you thought you knew about this season on its head. We're talking about 3 veteran quarterbacks sitting on benches right now, one of them wearing our colors, and a trade deadline scenario that's more explosive than anything we could have imagined 4 weeks ago. And here's the kicker: while other teams are scrambling, panicking, trying to figure out their QB situations, we're sitting pretty with the future under center. But the ripple effects? Oh man, the ripple effects of what's happening around the league right now are insane. I'm talking about backup quarterbacks with massive contracts, teams dealing with devastating injuries, and a trade market that's about to get absolutely chaotic in the next 30 days. And yes, our guy is right in the middle of this whole situation. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're gonna understand exactly why the Falcons made the move they made, why other teams are kicking themselves right now, and what this means for our championship push. This isn't just news, fam. This is a masterclass in how to build a contender. Let's get it. But wait, before we break down this bombshell, I need you to do something right now. If you bleed red and black, if you're serious about staying ahead of every other Falcons fan out there, smash that like button, destroy that subscribe button, and crank those notifications to all. Listen, only 1% of you watching are actually subscribed. That means 99% are missing out on exclusive breakdowns like this. Don't be part of the 99% who stays in the dark. Join the 1% who dominates the conversation. Let's build the strongest Falcons community on YouTube together. Do it now! Alright, so here's what's going down across the NFL right now, and trust me, this is where it gets juicy. According to Jonathan Jones from CBS Sports, and this dude has connections everywhere, there are 3 veteran starting quarterbacks currently riding the bench who you'd think would be hot commodities before the November 4th trade deadline. We're talking about Anthony Richardson with the Colts, Russell Wilson with the Giants, and our guy, Kirk Cousins, right here in Atlanta. Now, before Falcons Nation starts sweating, let me hit you with the reality of this situation, because it's actually better for us than you might think. Here's the explosive part: none of these 3 quarterbacks are drawing any trade interest right now. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, isn't that bad for us? Don't we want to move Cousins? Hold up, hold up. Let me break down why this is actually proof that our front office is playing 4D chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Let's start with Anthony Richardson, because his story is absolutely wild. This dude was the 4th overall pick back in 2023, 4th overall. The Colts invested heavy in this kid, and what happened? He disappointed for 2 straight years, lost a preseason competition to Daniel Jones, yeah, that Daniel Jones, and now he's watching from the sideline while Jones is out here leading the Colts to a 3-1 start. Can you imagine being a top 5 pick and losing your job in a preseason battle? That's rough, man. But here's where it gets interesting for us. The Colts are keeping Richardson through the season because he's still under team control through 2026. They've got a 5th-year option decision coming up for 2027, and unless something dramatic happens, they're probably not picking it up. Nobody wants to trade for Richardson right now because his value has absolutely tanked. Teams are watching him ride the bench behind Daniel Jones and thinking, yeah, we'll pass on that experiment. This is important for Falcons fans because it shows you what happens when you draft a quarterback too early and he doesn't develop. The Colts are stuck in quarterback purgatory, and meanwhile, we're over here with Michael Penix Jr. developing behind a veteran, learning the system, getting ready for his moment. The Colts rushed Richardson. We're doing it right. Now let's talk about Russell Wilson, because this situation is even more telling about the current state of NFL quarterback evaluation. Russell Wilson, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks of the last decade, is sitting on the Giants bench after getting benched for rookie Jackson Dart in late September. Let that sink in for a second. Russell Wilson, at 36 years old, lost his job to a rookie after just 4 weeks. The Giants haven't even been actively shopping him, but sources say that could change in the next month because they've already got Jameis Winston under contract as their veteran backup for next season. Here's the financial breakdown that's crucial to understand. Wilson is playing on a 1-year, $10.5 million guaranteed deal. Any team that trades for him would only have to take on his prorated $2 million base salary and would probably give up a day 3 draft pick. We're talking a 6th or 7th rounder, basically nothing. So you'd think teams would be lining up for a proven veteran like Wilson at that price, right? Wrong! Nobody's calling. Nobody wants him. Why? Because the league has moved on from these aging veterans who can't adapt to modern offensive systems. All right, now we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Kirk Cousins and what's happening right here in Atlanta. And I'm going to be real with you, Falcons Nation, this is where the story gets really interesting, because the numbers tell you everything you need to know about why this transition happened when it did. Kirk Cousins is sitting on a contract that includes a $27.50 million base salary this year and a $10 million roster bonus for 2026. That's not just expensive, that's prohibitive. According to reports, if the Falcons were to trade Cousins, they'd want the acquiring team to take on all of those financial commitments and give up a premium draft pick. Let me repeat that, a premium draft pick for a backup quarterback with an enormous contract. Is it any surprise that Cousins hasn't drawn a single phone call? Not even a tire kick? Nothing. But here's what the mainstream media isn't telling you, and this is where Falcons fans need to pay attention. This isn't a failure by our front office. This is exactly what Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith, Raheem Morris and our new regime planned for. They knew this contract would be unmovable. They structured it that way on purpose. Think about it, if Cousins was easily tradable, that means other teams would have seen value in him as a starter. But the fact that nobody wants him, even at his price point, tells you that the entire league agrees with what we did. The entire league is saying, yeah, Penix is your guy now. We're not stuck with Cousins, we're blessed to have him as the highest paid backup quarterback mentor in the league. This dude is making $27.5 million to help develop our franchise quarterback. Show me another team with that kind of luxury. And this is where the Falcons look like geniuses again. We didn't just sign a veteran and hope he'd carry us for 3 years. We signed a veteran to bridge to our future, and we pulled the trigger on that future at exactly the right time. While the Giants are stuck with a 36-year-old declining quarterback nobody wants, we've got a 24-year-old with unlimited potential taking first-team reps and getting better every single week. And speaking of value, let's talk about what this means for the NFC South race, because this is where it gets really fun. You know who else is dealing with quarterback issues? Our division rivals. The Panthers? Don't even get me started on Carolina. Their situation is so bad that a popular Panthers podcast called Meow Mix, which has been running for over 6 years, just announced they're going on indefinite hiatus because they can't justify spending time away from their families to watch this disaster. Let me repeat that Panthers fans are so depressed that content creators are quitting because the team is unwatchable. The Bryce Young pick has crashed and burned, and they have to watch Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who both flamed out in Charlotte, succeed elsewhere. Carolina hasn't won more than 7 games in a season since 2017. 7 years of misery. They've had 7 different head coaches in that span. Meanwhile, we've got stability at the most important position, a defense that's improving every week, and a young quarterback who's showing flashes of brilliance. The Saints? They're dealing with their own drama. The Buccaneers? They're trying to hold on with Baker Mayfield, but we all know how that story ends. The NFC South is wide open, and we're the team best positioned to dominate it for the next decade. So when you see these headlines about veteran quarterbacks not drawing trade interest, don't panic, Falcons Nation. Don't worry about Kirk Cousins sitting on the bench with a big contract. Instead, celebrate the fact that we've got organizational stability, a clear vision for the future, and a front office that isn't making reactionary moves like the rest of the league. We've got Michael Penix Jr. learning from a quality veteran, developing at his own pace, and getting ready to lead this franchise for the next 10 to 15 years. We've got weapons on offense, a defense that's improving, and a coaching staff that believes in the process. The trade deadline is going to come and go, and we're going to sit tight, stay patient, and keep building. Because while other teams are making desperate moves and trading away their future, we're playing the long game. We're building something sustainable. We're creating the next great NFC dynasty. And when Michael Penix Jr. is hoisting Lombardi trophies in a few years, and Kirk Cousins is retired somewhere enjoying that $27.5 million, and the Colts are still trying to figure out their quarterback situation, and the Giants are on their third quarterback since Russell Wilson, we're going to look back at this moment and recognize it for what it was: the moment everything clicked. The moment the vision became clear. The moment Falcons Nation realized that our front office knows exactly what they're doing. So buckle up, fam. Keep the faith. Trust the process. Because this season is just the beginning of something special. Rise up, Falcons Nation. We're building something legendary. Now hit that like button if you're excited about the future. Subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment telling me what you think about this whole trade deadline situation. And most importantly, go Falcons!